as I've explained plenty of times now, I am pro changing the past. If they do, this doesn't happen. Right? We can lose now and still win. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with the final episode of Season 2 of Link Click. As I said, it's going to be the final episode for a while, so here's hoping that it answers more questions than it possibly cliffhangers us for. Because if you don't know, we record a bunch of these episodes back to back, my solo reaction stuff in the same morning, and I have just been cock-blocked by Apothecary Diaries with a number of cliffhangers. So I would like at least one of these shows to start actually getting us there. That said, though, we come back with a board and some notes. So let's go ahead and hop into the board, where you might notice there's a big old gap in the middle where there didn't used to be one. I changed the green line from Ma to Huajin to red. I added a green line from Tianchen to Lu Min because I've forgotten to all this time. I corrected the lines between Lisa's killer, Zong Shui, and Quan Jin, connecting Tianchen to Zhuang with a red line. I corrected the red eyes lines to go to Tianchen. I connected Shang to Tianchen with a red line, because I've also forgotten to do that all this time. I put a question mark on Ma. He's probably dead, as I assume Quan Jin is the one that came back at the end, but off screen, so I don't know. And then I marked Tianxi as dead, because, she got shot, assumably right through the middle of the chest. If she's not dead, she's probably paralyzed for the rest of her life. I probably should have put a question mark, because, it didn't happen this episode. She's still literally mid-fall. Seems very much implied that she's dead, though. So yeah, that's the board. And as I said, come back with notes. Obviously, my first comment has to be on Shang switching places to get away from Tianchen. The how makes perfect sense. Hell, I proposed it myself in the notes section before we watched the episode. My problem is him showing up in the car. Multiple times now, across 2 seasons, we've shown that Shang emerges from a photo or a video. He emerges back to the spot he entered from. That is essentially a rule at this point, as it's been confirmed to be true time and time again. This time he enters a video at the police station and exits the video into the car. That makes no sense to the internal logic of the show. More than that, it feels lazy. They clearly had an idea on how to do the escape, but for some reason apparently wanted to reuse an existing background that they'd drawn, rather than remain consistent to the show's setup. The worst thing is, it wouldn't have taken that much to correct. They have a wide shot of the front of the theater, have Zhao Li pull out his phone in recording mode, and have Shang look at it, clap his hands, boom, reset point. I think it bothers me so much because the show has been extremely detail-oriented so far, so such a major slip feels completely off. The Tianchen-Quan Jin relationship is a bit confusing from Tianchen's side. Quan Jin says repeatedly that he won't stand for betrayal and that Tianxi is going to pay the price for it. And Tianchen doesn't seem all that moved by it, accepting the fact. Yet, seems surprised when Quan Jin aims a gun at her. Also, stupidly, he moves to get in front of the gun instead of grabbing for Quan Jin's exposed wrist or neck. His power is control through touch. And while I know Quan Jin is supposed to be a great fighter, Tianchen hasn't been nothing this whole time. Jumping in front of a gun seems like the stupidest move he could have made. Look, I'm not going to defend Quan Jin for murdering his wife, but I totally get why he thought they were cheating. The scenes we got leading up to Tianshan's speech explaining that they weren't entirely looked like they were. Sorry, I put the emphasis on the wrong spot there. Tianshan's speech explaining that they weren't entirely looked like they were. I mean, if these two weren't having an affair, then they are just two of the most naturally suspicious people on the planet. Dude couldn't remember basic stuff in a way that he looked like he was hiding something. Violence is never the way to address those sorts of issues. You gotta believe that's why they showed us Tianxi's backstories first. But also, the insanity of them working with Quan Jin after learning about him, considering he's exactly like their father was, something that they wanted to change. So Quan Jin has this problem where he works too much, his wife hates that he's never around, she gets pregnant, and then he suspects her of cheating with her co-star and kills them both using Tian Shen. Except for the last part, sounds like a different character, doesn't it? Shen Bin works too much, wife hates that he's never around, she gets pregnant. And then Tian Shen kills him by making him launch himself off the roof. Have to wonder if Quan Jin used Shen Bin specifically because of what he saw of himself in that man. And all too quickly, we're at my last note. Without that picture, our present is gone. The one thing I appreciate that Red Eyes has pushed to the front of the story is that Lu's choices to not change the present because it's the best present for them doesn't mean it's the best present for everyone else. Choosing to maintain the timeline as it is rather than saving people obviously means that the people you don't save suffer. Remember the case files associated with Red Eyes? We only saw a few of them, but the victim count on them went up to at least 8. That's 8 people that wouldn't have been killed by Tian Shin had Chang changed their past. On top of the 2 people he would have saved in that situation itself, possibly would have also prevented Quan Jin from finding it in himself to murder his wife. All for what? What is so great about the present that those 12 people should be dead? Obviously, Tian Shen is a psychopath, a murderer, and extremely likely to be without redemption, but at least I understand what put him on this path and what is motivating him in the here and now. That's right, I'm gonna end my notes about the entire series so far on a Lu is still wrong stance. So take that. Anyway, as I said, those are my notes, so nothing left to do but to see how we wrap up this whole season.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Ah, goddammit. I have notes about phone numbers too, across the whole show season, so.
我妈妈她带我妹妹去上厕所了。
啊，小朋友你好，这里是卫生精神中心，你妈妈是不是有打过电话来咨询心理问题啊？
我们家没人有精神病。
Well, your dad is.
天辰，谁打来的？
哦，是骚扰电话。
Oh, come on.
今天总算。
Unless she was calling the center about you, and you've always been fucking crazy.
骗子吧？
别瞎说，他把你妹吓着了。
我会照顾好她的。
Oh, don't give me the little finger. What are you doing?
这是小西新学的手语，什么意思呀？
是好哥哥的意思。
你故意的吧？别的不教，先教这个。
好了，你们过来吧。
啊，哎，来了来了。
Okay, this is a different day, same crazy doctor.
是我女儿，半年前开始就突然发不出声音了，跑了好几个地方都看过。
Oh, okay, so she wasn't always mute.
没事的，有我在。
Unless Tian Shin did something to her. Okay, for a second there, I thought we might be getting a final episode without an opening. Sorry, the fact that she suddenly lost her voice and that Tian Shin so quickly turns into a psychopath, and then... Sorry, I said that like it was like in chronological order. That's not what I meant. That Tian Shin so quickly becomes a psychopath to get a phone call about a psychiatric place makes me think that quite possibly Tian Shin has always been a psychopath, and that he may have done something to his sister that caused her to lose her voice. Or she might not have even lost her voice. Could be an element of he threatened her never to talk again. Then again, why would he be crying in the future about her finally talking? I don't know. I am very suspicious that that may have been a legitimate call, and that the culprit is Tian Shin. Not for nothing, he may be his father's son, is what I'm getting at. If you've never seen the movie The Good Son, I'm getting like strong The Good Son vibes out of this. Now, I don't know what the motive would be, or even if we're going to cover what happened 6 months ago, because it feels like that'd be a real weird way to end this season, by seeing more of their backstory. Like, I don't know how to put this out there, but I don't think I can feel sadder about their backstory. I could certainly get more confused by it, though, which I don't think is the way you want to go with this kind of thing. Alright, what are we going to be called? I was like, what was written on the picture already? Again, I think Ma gets killed by Quan Jin, and Quan Jin comes back and shoots Tian Ji. Yeah, I think I'm proven correct. Why did Ma fucking go for the headshot? Oh shit, I forgot to mention a whole theory that I came up with after I was done taking my notes. Theory I had is that in this episode, we're actually going to change time, and the reason why the next season is called the Biden arc, and not season 3, is because we're dealing with the changed timeline. That was my theory, and I forgot to write it in my notes. Fighting pretty good for having a gunshot wound. But then again, they're both wounded in almost exactly the same spot. I mean, legitimately, there's nothing you can do here. Other than make it fucking sadder. That ring have any significance? You think Shang could get mortally injured? Tian Shin takes over his body as he's dying, changes the past? As I've explained plenty of times now, I am pro changing the past. If they do, this doesn't happen. Right, we can lose now and still win. Oh, the captain? Yeah. Gotta get revenge for Wang. Wang Ji. Or was it Wang Li? Wang Li, I think it was. Go where? I thought she was trying to get him to go into the fight. I don't know what Tangxi is imploring her brother to do here. Fucking badass. It's always the fucking psychopath villain that's like the best fighter in the world. Don't look away. Dude's been a fucking killer the whole time. I wouldn't trust that you knocked him out. Here's my problem, is that the only way that I can hope... Is she passing her power? That's something you can do. I said the only hope I have that Tianxi can survive this is to root for her psychopath killer brother. Or did she pass on her memories?
如果调解还是没用的话，你可以试试走法律途径，和他解除婚姻关系。
我不是没想过离婚，但一想到天辰他们还小，小希天生又有点智力障碍，我一个人不知道该怎么办。
我可以帮你们呀。
谢谢周老师，但我不想。
Oh, the teacher. She actually was having an affair? I mean, who gives a shit, right?
怎么哭了？做噩梦了？
我不要爸爸妈妈分开。爸爸妈妈是不是不要我了？
God, this show's the fucking worst for emotions.
在家啊？还踹我，想造反呀？是不是？以后日子也别过了，看我以后怎么弄死你们！你给我等着！
And Tian Shen says he's the one that killed them both. I still suspect he's taking over the body right here. I mean, this dude deserves to get beaten by a fucking hammer. Okay, I was right. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. I didn't know why he would have stabbed his own mother. I assumed he did it from the psychopath version of himself in the future. So he just blames himself for his mother's death, not the imploring thing that he says that I killed them both. Yeah, but we know that she dies here. He fucking killed Chen, as we're about to see here. He killed Emma. He killed at least 8 or 7 other people. It's incredibly difficult to feel empathetic for Tian Chen. Do I care if he feels sorry? Yeah, isn't this the point where she runs away? It's like we're trying to hit you with every fucking thing from the entire goddamn season. And this is why she runs away. I guess there had to be some amount of self-blame there too, because if they had separated, this wouldn't have happened. We can stay together for the kids, and then suddenly the dude turns into a murderous ass. Wait, then how does he fall off the roof? Oh, is that where the ring comes from? Well, their costumes?
啊，对了，你知道特需楼怎么走吗？
看来是走反了。
走吧，走吧。
这是小溪新学的手语，什么意思呀？
Where the hell are you gonna go?
说说吧，哪里不舒服？
半年前开始就突然发不出声音了，跑了好几个地方都看过，就查不出原因。
小朋友你好，这里是卫生精神中心，你妈妈是不是有打过电话来咨询心理问题啊？
没事的，有我在。妈妈，故事的结尾，那对兄妹有没有找到回家的路啊？
Pretty sure we learned that they don't, even in the story.
乔梁，啊，乔梁，怎么了，乔梁？乔梁。
So Tianqin was just running to get away from the cops.
刘少爷，这儿。
Oh, was it the Lu that was dealing with Lumin's dad? No, that was a Lee. Oh, this is
都上车了，
blue-haired guy,
妈你就放心吧。
friend of Tianqin. The weird neck tattoo.
我出国这些年，的确发生了很多事。
是啊，这个流民说死就死了，倒也是了了我一桩心事。
Oh, Lumin's dad's wife.
好了，不说了不说
Don't have
了，
a name for her.
你赶紧回来，多陪陪你爸。
回来前，我先要去个地方。
Oh, that's right, I forgot that I even wrote down that I thought he was the brother of Lu Min.
见个老朋友。
Well, at least I got proven right there. Not that it doesn't help me much for all this fucking emotional damage.
我说过，我们一定会再见面的。
Fucking kill this guy. He put you on the track to become a hunter, which has caused more damage.
为什么那天李天熙的记忆会突然涌进我的脑子里？甚至还有他所看到过其他人的记忆片段。
Yeah, how did Chen fall off the fucking roof if he wasn't in control of him?
帮我们找一下陆光在哪儿。我知道，通过照片你能看到陆光现在的情况。 包括陆光的记忆。
I guess she's internalized everything that she saw when she was in everybody that she's ever been in.
怎么样？想好了吗？
我还有的选吗？
每个人的命运看似只有一条路，但其实是由无数条平行线组成的。
Lou won't let you see that.
它可以被个人性格所驱使。 也会随着其他人而改变。
Oh, it was fucking Ma the whole goddamn time. Why did he come back? He's just standing in the doorway fucking watching?
有时我们想要扭转，却无能为力。
You're totally able to.
走。
Someone just keeps stopping us.
为什么陆光的记忆里会有程小时死去的画面？可能是我想多了。
Don't tell me he changed the future
慢点儿。
because he's a selfish asshole, I guess. It's either that or I'm right, that Lou can see, like, the future of the present.
哎呀，还是家里舒服。
欢迎二位房客出院归来。
哎，这2月可得免房租啊！
程小石，你怎么这么毁气氛呢？
哼，毁什么气氛了？哎呦，感谢包租婆，还给我们准备了接风宴。来，陆哥，快扶我过去。
At this point, I think you can drop the landlady joke.
5万。
Y'all are more tight-knit than I've ever seen y'all
你
be.
这人也太绝情了，看到有吃有喝的就把兄弟给忘了。
小队，王警官怎么样了？
Dead?
他已经脱离生命危险。
Wait, what?
正逐渐康复中。
Wait, am I right?
这次
Did we change the future
上面针
or
对
the
死亡可能
past?
犯罪事件，还成立了专案组，让我负责统筹。
我想把更多条平行线汇聚起来，让一切
Or
不
did
确定
she not die? I can't tell what he's talking about and what's actually happening
真的
anymore.
做得到吗？
这点勇气都没，还怎么做我的朋友？
Again, this jackass convinced you to be a hunter and murder people.
你好像落东西了。
已经不需要了。
Well, that's not the character advancement I was hoping for.
吃了1个月的清汤寡水。
Well, I did say he would become irredeemable, and now I guess he is.
陆光，你怎么不吃啊？
对不起，程小石。我一直告诉你，不能改变过去，但自己却没能做到。即使知道死亡是不能改变的节点，但我也想用最后的机会，回到一切的开始，拯救你。
So I guess I was right with the theory I was throwing out at the beginning of the episode that I sadly said that I forgot to include in my notes. That the idea that the bridon arc... Again, so I apologize, I have to talk over the ending no matter what, Rogue. But, the bridon arc would happen because something would change, or they change the timeline somehow. And I guess that's what's being implied, is how it happened. That Lou waited till the final moment, and then made the decision to go back and save Chang's life. Which, you know what? What's the worst thing that happened? So far, nothing. Implying that we could have saved anybody's life before. I'm just saying, Lou being a hypocrite just proves how wrong he was in my eyes. I understand that things in the very past, butterfly affect their way into the future. It just... Do we have any end credit thing for the end of the season? No. Okay. God damn. It's like literally they tried to throw everything out at once. And I'll be honest, I obviously was feeling some hard emotions there and probably would have more if it wasn't for the fact that I know I'm being watched. It's like I'm not holding shit back. I'm not holding shit back, it's just the observer effect. I feel less while I'm recording than I do when I'm watching alone. I've explained this many times before. It's why I posted on the Discord before how in rewatching the episode I was like bawling, whereas on here I was crying a little bit, but not as much. That all of that shit there just hits you, and not for nothing. I think this time it wasn't that observer effect; it was the element of it's too much. I got hit with too much sad shit all at once. I just got overwhelmed by it. Jeez. I don't know where to start here. Normally I would just hold off like until next time and just bring it up in notes, but next time is going to be a long time from here, as far as I can tell. The element that Lou goes back on his word about you can't change notes, and he changed it, and the best thing happened. Like, I know the show seems to want to put a heavy weight on the fact that Lou just didn't live up to his own rule. I don't care. I've been rooting against that rule from the beginning. Fine, whatever. That Ma is the one that killed Chen. Like, granted, I think my initial thought was that he did, and then we got introduced to the fact that Red Eyes did it, and then we found out Red Eyes didn't do it, and then Ma actually did do it. It's like, I stopped liking Ma as a character a while ago. We didn't need to, like, try to introduce that, oh, he's not responsible for shit, and then he does horrible shit. Like, was I supposed to be rooting for Ma when Ma started shooting at Quan? It's like, I don't care. Ma's a horrible character. I want him to kill another horrible character and then die. I don't care about Ma. Ma was cool when I thought he was a cool-looking dude, and then the moment he started doing anything, it turned out just to be horrible. Tian Xin, she says run, and then he just runs away. I mean, seriously, I thought she was imploring for him to get into the fight. I thought his motive would be to, in the middle of the fight, try and grab Shang, and then force Shang to go back and change everything in the moment. Like, I understand that, like, time moves one for one. Like, every minute in the past is also a minute in the present that's passing. Obviously, doing that mid-fight, probably not the greatest idea. There's also the element that he can control multiple people at once, so he could hand on Quan, keep him fighting, and control Shang traveling back into the past. I don't know. The element that I'm having a problem with as well is the element that it seems to me that Tian Shen is a very complicated character, but he is saddled with baggage from before the moment that we meet him as a character, right? He is responsible for killing at least 8 people before we meet him, so that we get his traumatic backstory after he is a psychopathic killer, right? And not for nothing, we've also gotten voice lines from him up to that point. So, like, the element of there being a possible redemption does not exist in my mind unless we change his past. And not for nothing, it seems like that's what he's up to. It's what I suspected before, up until the conversation he has with Quan about what their ultimate goal is, or what he's up to. In which case, it's like, oh, maybe they're not doing that. And then, of course, what seems to be the show is, maybe they're doing this thing. No, they're not doing this thing. Oh, they're doing this thing. Seems to be what the show is mostly like, sometimes. But, yeah. Now the element that he's just giving up on that and going with Liu, Liu. A guy who I have no reason to like. The dad says that he wished Lu Min was more like his older brother, and I guess that's this guy. He said, sorry, I can't remember, he said younger or older. Either way, he wished he was more like the brother because the brother was more successful, and that's clearly this guy, which I suspected before. Now this is actual evidence. They got the phone back. I guess that's one plot thread resolved. Which is also, horrible considering we sacrificed so much to get that phone. Now it's gone. And then he's now abandoning his past. I guess the idea is that he thinks that there's no way to change that history. Also, clearly I was wrong about the psychological thing. They were thinking that the daughter, or Tianxi, not talking was an element of a psychological problem. I was worried that he had a psychological problem. Also, I think I've not said this out loud, so to do the saying the obvious stuff out loud, obviously when he was controlling the mother, when he was holding his sister, and then doing through that. So it wasn't him from the future affecting it. However, I have no evidence to suggest that he still can't travel through time. It doesn't seem like that's what Tianxi's power was. It seemed like she could only do things through the present, but at the same time, how the hell was he controlling Emma where she was without knowing that he has to fight Shang traveling there? How it just there's some things that don't line up for me there. And it's entirely possible, knowing now, that some point in the future, Tianchen could control Shang, which would allow him to affect things in the past. That anything that we've seen so far could be an element of future storylines. As I mentioned before, I have to believe that the bridon arc is an element at play because of Lu changing the timeline. However, now that I'm thinking about it, how did Lu change the timeline? Can Lu do this on his own? I didn't think about it in the moment. How did Lu change the timeline? Because presumably Lu doesn't have the power to go back. Lu's power has always been to see. And I think I've written that specifically down when I broke down everyone's power set last episode. That we don't really know what Lu's actual ability is because we don't actually codify it, right? I've always suspected that he could always see 12 hours ahead from the current moment if he just looks at his phone and a picture, right? Yeah, you know what? Sure, I think I'm done with my current thoughts, and as I said before, we record these live, so I guess we're just going to take an extended moment with a conversation with Rogue Knight, sponsor of the show, who is currently in chat, who says, so now can we talk without me spoiling anything? So now that we can talk without me spoiling anything, our powers transferred via death. So Lu got Chang's power because he died. We did see Chang's death in episode 1 of season 2, by the way. I don't remember that. See, I asked out loud. I don't think I was saying a fact in my head. Or in my head. I wasn't saying it in my head, I was saying it out loud. I don't think I was saying a fact when we saw the teardrop from Tianxi fall, and then it travels up to Zhao's head. And then we see all the memories. I think I said out loud, is she giving her powers? Is she taking her powers? That sort of thing. I don't know if that's true. Like, it seemed to me that she was just getting all of her memories. I guess that'd be a way to go if you wanted to just completely get rid of the Tianxi character and now have Zhao be just a member of the trio now. At the same time, I guess that would be like the mind-reading member, because if Lu can just see everything that's happening at a certain time frame, I guess it gives Chang more vectors by which to interact with people. No more are we beholden to the picture thing, where we can also do the way that Tianxi was doing it. If that is the case, and if you're not asking a question, but you're putting your own theory out there, that Lu got Chang's power, I guess that would at least answer how did Lu change the past. I guess also if he changed the past, that would imply that he doesn't still have the power. Because that would be the question in my head, right? If Lu is independent of... If he is paradox, right? I think I brought this up before. If the fact is that they could change something in the past and then remember it, that implies that the memory of the past is still with them. And if the memory remains, well, what is memory but different ties of neurons in your brain put together in a very specific pattern? So if your brain chemistry remains the same, after a time jump, why wouldn't the rest of your biology, right? And what is the power but a biological power, right? I'm assuming it is. The fact that we see it transferred seems to imply that it's part of your body. So if your memories stay, I have to believe that the possibility exists for the power to stay, in which case then we've duplicated the power, and Chang has a power, and now Lu has Chang, his power, and his power. I think after 12 hours you become stuck in the photo. This is all my theory, yes. It's not stuck in the photo. I think you're just in the time. I think you get forcibly ejected after 12 hours. Isn't that the rule? You have 12 hours and then you're out. I don't think they've ever implied. Granted, I don't know if Link Click is based on no, it wouldn't be a manhwa. I forget what the Chinese name for this specific art style is. Anyway, unless it's based on something from that, and the implication is from there that is how that specific rule works, I think they were just implying you've got 12 hours. Okay, I think we're reading differently what's happened here. Because Rogue Knight is saying, and this is just in case I don't include the text section, if Lu went into the past and never left, he has gone over 12 hours. Sure, but there's no reason why he would never have left. Lu goes back, changes the past, and then comes back to the future. And the future would have been changed because of what he did in the past. There's no reason for him to stay. Why would he have stayed in the past? Because I think what you're implying happened is that Lu went back, saved Chang, and then just stayed. But there's no reason for that to have happened. Because there's no reason to stay. Staying doesn't change anything. If Lu went back to the past, made sure that Chang survived, and then just went back to the point where he left, the same thing would have happened, and there's no reason the 12-hour rule wouldn't be broken. Right, there's also the element that it seems like he waits to the very end of the time limit, goes back, and makes the decision to go back and change the past. And from where he is at, he just rejoins time from the moment he left. My theory is he never left. It also explains why he randomly took a picture in the hospital. He has lived through this before. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the paradox thing that I brought up before, that there had to have been a first time that somebody did that. Although, there's no reason for that to be true either. The element is that when I'm introduced to a new theory, the first thing I try and do is poke holes in it, because I think that's the reasonable course of action for a theory. You try to poke holes in it, and if you can't poke any holes in it, then it stands, right? The thing here is that he's looking at his watch, and it is 5 minutes past midnight, right? He takes the picture, if memory serves, 1800 hours, that is 6 o'clock, right? So, he took the picture, essentially 6 hours ago. Technically, he'd still be within the 12-hour window. Right? So, even if you were right, he's not out of the 12-hour window. He's still, till 6 o'clock in the morning. And some change. Sorry. What was my note? I closed my notes after I was done with my notes section. Let's scroll down here. Actually, I guess I could just scroll up for the number 18. Because I know I wrote down the time. Or at least I thought that I did. I did not, apparently. I know it was 1843. We see him look at his clock or something like that. Or maybe it was 1845. It's somewhere around that time. I know that's when he looks at the clock. And it's around that he takes the picture. So, if it's the same day, and I'm pretty sure it is, I think this is all happening within the same night as the picture taking, because if it didn't happen within the same night of the picture taking, then it doesn't matter about that, because we're already past 12 hours. By days. And so I'm assuming it's all within the same night, in which case he is only 6 hours past that jump. Granted, this is all my opinion too. Same way your theory is your opinion, this is all my opinion. And there's no telling that if my opinion, while I'm trying to make it based on facts, can't just be my opinion as well. But yeah, I do not believe that there is, one, any reason for him to stay within the 12-hour window. And two, I don't think there's anything to suggest that that's what's happening. Lou is not new at this. I would think that he would understand that all he has to do is change the event and come back. Especially if what you're, I think, implying by your point of he has lived through this before. The idea would be that you would want to change the event, come back, and make sure that the change that you made created the situation that you wanted to create. Oh, actually, never mind. I now remember you can only jump into the picture once. So he would have to make sure the hard way. But then, after 12 hours, this involves the other thing that I've brought up many times, is that you could just keep taking pictures. Right? Lou goes back, saves Chang. Uncertain if saving Chang actually saves him, after, say, 6 hours, 12 hours, whatever, he just takes another picture. Jumps back into the present, looks at his phone. He now has like 7 more pictures within the time frame. Jumps into another one of them. The element that you can only take one picture only matters in a scenario where you might lose your phone, not have access to the cloud, you know. You can just keep taking pictures. If your only source of a picture is like a disposable camera, and you only had one picture left on it, sure. I'm just thinking that the situations where that becomes a problem are more tailored to the situation than they are applicable, right? So, not really a big deal, I don't think. Yeah, taking multiple pictures does sound like it would solve some problems. It gets rid of that section of rule as a thing. It becomes more of a caveat than it does a rule. Because again, I can imagine a bunch of situations like, oh no, we're in a place with no signal. I can't upload these pictures to the cloud. And oh crap, the bad guy destroyed my phone. Now I no longer have access to those pictures. That could be a scenario that could happen. That would also just be like a use case scenario. Like, we had to engineer it to happen to make sure that the guys weren't able to do it. Side thing, Lu Jing is the father of Lu Min. I never knew his name until I looked it up. Well, obviously I'm not looking anything up other than the pictures. If I can use a source from behind the voice actors for a picture for the board, that's where I do it. And I believe there is no listed name for Lu Min's father on the board. I mean, on the behind the voice actors. I think I'm behind the voice actors. He's just listed as Lu Min's father. So that's what I've continued to use in absence of any name. That's why everyone in relation to him that doesn't have a name becomes very convoluted to say, I believe that's Lu Min's wife. Not Lu Min's wife. I believe that's Lu Min's father's wife. Because I have no connecting tissue to name her. Like, she's someone's wife. Whose wife is she? She's Lu Min's father's wife. What's Lu Min's father's name? I don't know. Otherwise, I would say it's X's wife. So 3 connections down to name the woman on the phone with Lu Min's brother. I don't really know where else to go from here with my thought process. Again, I'm assuming that the Bridon arc is named as such and not Season 3, specifically to deal with the fallout of Lou changing the past, or quite possibly having to deal with whatever the fallout of it actually is, if there is such a fallout, changing a node. Gotcha. One interesting thing is Lou and Chang went overseas. Now Lu Min's brother is coming back from overseas. Lou and Chang went overseas? Lou and Chang went overseas. Did they? Am I forgetting something? When did Lou and Chang go overseas? I don't remember that happening. I'll tell you the one thing that keeps coming back to me, though, is who hired them in episode 1 to investigate the Mr. Zhao's business records. Because it seems to me that that person is a motivating villain for the whole story. If they hadn't investigated those records, of which, by the way, Lu Min is a dirty business... Lu Min's dad, dirty businessman. Like, they had to have known what was going on to also hire these people who can travel in the past and find that stuff out. They must have known everything. The people who hired these guys in episode 1 must have known everything and got them involved. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to the end of the story and Shang travels back in time to hire themselves. You know, like, the only way to make sure everything happens the way that it happens is if we set ourselves up to do it. So we had to hire ourselves in the first place. I'm wondering if they got their power from overseas. In season 1, while they are saving Dudu, they talk about Lu and Chang being overseas. Oh, right. Chang is supposed to be on a trip. Although that would be after they graduated, but before they start doing everything. Also, how do you afford to be on a trip? He barely is paying rent on the time studio. The photo studio. Yeah, I never thought about it until you brought it up, but who hired them? That is an interesting question. Like I said, there are a number of loose threads in this show still that I feel like you could constantly be pulling at. And not from the we're leaving questions unanswered. I feel like a bunch of these questions are intentional. Like, I don't know if this is inspired by, again, whatever Chinese manga is called. If it's inspired by that, or if it exists at all. But the idea that, is it over? Like, do they have an ending that they're aiming for? Or is this still ongoing? And that these are threads that are constantly going to be, questionable. Because it does feel like this is just the intro to a larger story that we're now entering into. Like, I feel like Tian Shen has now developed into the villain arc, whereas this was the setup for him becoming the villain. Like, the initial 8 murders are just like him learning the craft. Like, that's what other Lu. Like, I don't know how to say it. We have a Lu, L-U, and then we have L-I-U, which I'm still pronouncing as Lu. Other Lu set him up to become a hunter and all this other stuff. And, it just feels like it's the initial part of his villain arc. I'll also point out the fact is that I kept track of who's in jail on the board for no good reason. And now we have, Mr. Zhu. We've got, what was it? I can't remember her name. Or, the kid kidnapper. Or his name. May. We have May, Mr. Zhu, and now, Juan are all in jail. Presumably not together. But, you could have a old villain arc where they all come back too. I get the feeling the blue-haired kid is like a time master, like he has a certain timeline he wants. I get mastermind vibes. I don't know, he's talking about the timeline as though he has experience with it, plus he's got a weird neck tattoo. So, also, he just came back from overseas, as you're indicating. So, I don't think Lu and Chang got their power overseas. I believe that Chang's parents have something to do with it. And it still seems to me that, I mentioned this a long time ago, Lu seems to know something about the parents. I would be unsurprised if it turns out that Lu has something to do with it. Like, not like he made the parents disappear. I mean, like, he knows what happened to them and he's keeping it a secret. Because, it seems like he's hiding something, but he says something in, like, episode 1, episode 2, where it seems like he's apologizing. And I feel like he's apologizing for not being able to say something, not for, having a direct hand in whatever happened. Alright, Rogue, you have any final thoughts you want to throw out there before we wrap up for today? For Link Click, specifically. Overall, I think Season 1 is a tighter plot and writing. I think Season 2 has higher highs, but is some lower lows. I don't know. I think Season 2 was probably better overall. Season 1 gives you the earthquake arc, which is fucking horrible. By horrible, I mean emotionally horrible. It was well written, good setup. But I think Season 2 is like a season of the earthquake arc. Season 1 has some... Okay, Season 2, as a story, everything matters, right? Everything relates to everything in the story. Season 1 has some, hey, let's get you to know these characters, and they're only there to help you learn about the characters. Like, God, what was their name? Yu Jia and Lin Zhen don't matter. Like, their story is a little bit heartwarming, how they, fall apart. Not they fall apart. They separate over a long period of time, and about bringing them back together again. Unlike our 5.5 characters, they don't come back, right? There was no part of Season 2 where we had to figure out the secret to a dish, right? I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Shen Zhao never comes back. So, as emotionally impactful as the earthquake arc was, it also doesn't pay off for the rest of Season 1. So Season 2 is tight. Season 2 is everything it needs to be, with all the same emotional impact. Right? So I have to say I think Season 2 is better. It's the better one. Not much more to say. Just thank you so much for watching. I just hope Bridon Arc can continue good writing and answer more things. Well, thank you for sponsoring. Anyone that enjoys Link Click as much as we all have together, don't forget to drop on by the Discord at some point and thank Rogue Knight for sponsoring the series. I would say it's been an enjoyable watch, but it has been a knife to the chest. It's been a knife to the chest for the series. Oh, and hashtag justice for Emma and Chen Bin. Well, also Tianxi. Like, how can you not get justice for Tianxi? Legitimately, just go back and change their story, and most of the story changes positively. Alright. Like I said, that's where we're going to wrap up here. Whenever the Bridon arc starts for us, I'll try to come back and have notes specifically for the wrap-up here of this season. So until then, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?